That's what didn't start recording. Why did that one not start? Huh. Hello there. Greetings. 16 years. I like how the beginning of this tape is like the 15 years video, and now here we are, 16 years. It's been a whole year already. Again. Whoa. I am recording audio separately because I realized how much tape noise comes from this camera. It's been 16 years since I started this. That's half my life of doing these videos. For this year's video, I was thinking about going down memory lane. Recently, I went on a spinning spree. Long time ago, the camera that I wanted was a Sony Handycam, because you'll see in a little bit, I'll explain why, but like I've always wanted a Sony Handycam. And there was a period of time where I did buy a Sony Handycam, but it recorded to DVDs. And our computer at the time couldn't read the DVD and also couldn't read the file format. I couldn't get the videos off the DVD, so it was just a mess. So I just took the camera back. There was one with a hard drive that I wanted to buy, but it's too expensive because it was nice. It was built-in hard drive, you can get the files off, but it wouldn't have worked anyways. It still wouldn't have been able to read the files. I've always wanted that camera. I finally got one. After all this time, I finally got the camera I wanted. But then also I was like, well, there's some other cameras that I have that are broken, that don't work anymore. And so I kind of went on an eBay spree and I found a bunch of really old cameras, and that got me thinking, what if, for this year's video, we go through time, through my cameras? That's what this is. So we're starting off with the VHS, because my dad had a VHS camera, and that got me interested in cameras to begin with. Like, you can actually document things, go back and look and see in the past. Whoa! And then in elementary school, we went on a bunch of elementary trips. One of the parents liked to document us and his son, you know, doing stuff. On 2 of the trips, he allowed me to have the camera and do my own documenting. And so now we switch over to the Sony Handycam. We have it, except it's got the fisheye lens on it. So you'd like have me borrow it for like an hour or 2 and just let me run around with the group of kids and get like the kids' perspective, because he was getting his perspective. Now he can get what the kids were actually doing, which isn't a good thing. Don't give a bunch of kids cameras. It's not a good idea, because we recorded prank videos. And then on another trip, we had a bunch of toy lightsabers and we choreographed a fight that I recorded, that I documented. That's my directorial debut, a 6th grade lightsaber fight. This is what got me behind a camera, and this is like, you know what? I like being behind a camera. Thankfully, it was actually a good one on eBay. I was worried. When you're buying things on eBay, you're worried, but this actually works. It looks great. It's got actual night vision with the green. I've always wanted this camera, and I have it. I'm happy. I'm happy. Now I had experience behind a camera, and I'm like, you know what? I like this. I kind of want to have my own camera. So now we're going to go from this to the first camera I ever had. And here it is. The first camera. Well, technically not the first camera. These are the first cameras. This was the first model. This was the second model. And that's the third model, and this third model can go up to HD, so we'll just switch over to that. I mean, it's not HD, it's 720, but hey, whatever, it's something. This was the first one. It's seen better days. 2007, right here. Then I eventually upgraded to this one. This one used to work, but for some reason the power button just doesn't work anymore. And this one right here, it's close enough to being the same camera, just it's red instead of blue, but it's the same thing. It's got the same look and feel. That's what I'm going for. Well, except it wasn't HD though. It was this, but yeah. This is what it was like back in the day.
Ooh, optical illusion.
I also had this one, which is kind of like that one, just a different model, different brand. The benefit of this one, it had an extra lens. Like this one, it has like a macro lens. Like you see the background was blurry, so you can focus really close, you know. This one had a zoom lens. Somewhere inside there, if you zoom into a certain point, it would switch over to a different lens, and we get nice and crisp. So this was really good with zooming in on things. Before I had, you know, optical zoom. This still had its benefit, but we're not gonna use this because I don't think this turns on anymore either. I needed better quality photos because this can shoot photo, but like I needed some more control and whatnot. So we upgraded to another camera. And here it is, a simple Kodak point and shoot. Don't know if you can see it because I don't have a screen that can flip out anymore. But this actually wasn't the first one. This was the first one. Again, another just simple Kodak point and shoot camera. This one doesn't work anymore. A lot of cameras don't work anymore. The sensor went bad. Videos and photos would look like this. Not the best. Someone else on the team had this camera and she was just giving it away, so she just gave it to me. Again, it's like the other little camcorder camera where it's like the old cameras, but it's just different. But it's still the same. Still has the same vibes that this one gave. Let's see, what year are we at? We should be up to 2013. I finally got a somewhat decent camera. It was still just a simple point and shoot camera, but it actually had optical zoom and HD. So now we switch over to the Zoom Cam. Here it is, the Zoom Cam. Even though it's still a simple point and shoot, still just like this, just bigger. And it had zoom. That's why it's called the Zoom Cam, because it's got 26 times zoom. Look at that. Oh, the autofocus is off. A lot of stuff was shot on this camera. I've shot award-winning photos with this camera. Like, I've done things with this camera. I've actually won awards with almost all my cameras. It's not about the camera. It's about how you use the camera. And I made these cameras work. Doesn't matter what the camera's like. As long as I'm documenting, that's all that matters. Anyways, so now we go into 2014. I'm working at Wally World. My first paycheck, I bought a PS4. But then after that, I decided to save up some money for a new camera. Because at Christmas, Wally World let you have a 25% off one item. And so I used that 25% off one item to buy this Nikon D33. Don't know if you can see it, but Nikon D33. An actual DSLR, an actual camera. I finally have an actual camera. This was the Zoom Cam. I forgot to show it in the mirror, but this was what the Zoom Cam was. But yeah, this was when things got serious. I could do things with the actual lens. That's the original lens that's on it right now. Do you realize how many photos I've shot on this thing? When the camera gets to 9,999, it resets back to 0. It doesn't go up to 10,000. And this camera has reset 14 times. Videos, photos, everything. It all unleashed. Everything just widened. The horizon. I could. And then I missed having zoom, and so while still working at Wally World, I saved up a bunch of money and bought a zoom lens. The lens can go from 18 to 300. All my videos shot with this lens, that camera, like everything. And also this camera came after this one. This is the D55, but we're not going to include it in the video because it's the same camera, just a slimmer body. But the flip out screen is nice. So I could actually finally see what I'm doing for once. For the behind the scenes videos, I still only had the Zoom Cam and the point and shoot cameras. So the behind the scenes videos still didn't look that great because I would use this to shoot the photos and sometimes record the videos as I'm like getting the shot framed up. But I needed a good like behind the scenes and a good like portable camera that I can take on trips, a nice good point and shoot. So I wanted to go back to the point and shoot stuff, but actually have it be decent. And so we go to the slow-mo cam. And here we are on the slow-mo cam. Nice silver camera. Don't know if you can tell. Can you see it? I don't know. It's tiny, it's portable. It's like the point and shoot ones that I had. It's actually good quality. It's got manual controls. It's like the DSLR, just squished down to a small form factor that I can take on the go, carry around, shoot behind the scenes videos with, run around the parks and whatnot like what my aunt and I did, all kinds of things. So a lot of stuff was shot on this. This was like the behind the scenes camera. And I call it the slow-mo cam because it could record in slow-mo. I think it was 120 frames in HD, and then 400 frames, and then 1,200 frames. So yeah, I could record. It's not the best, not the like highest quality slow-mo guys, you know, that kind of stuff, but it was still slow-mo. And so I was recording so many slow-mo videos. Around this time, this is 2015, so I used it for like 3 years, and then I got a job, and I needed a phone for the job. Up until 2018, I didn't have a phone. I just didn't need one. But when I got a job that actually needed travel and needed maps and needed like communication, I had to get a phone. Over time, I eventually switched over to using the phone like recently, and all the videos recently has just been on the phone. This camera was always next to me, so I could just grab it, point and shoot, you know, record and whatnot. But now this is just right there too. I can just, you know, it was easier. Plus this camera is broken. There's like a little spring-loaded thing in the battery, and you push the battery in, it clicks into place to lock the battery in. That broke off. If the door gets tapped or bumped in any way, the camera shuts off. So it just became too unstable to use. And I do miss using it, but I eventually just switched over to shooting all the stuff on the phone. In fact, it would be this phone right here, this phone, which I'm using to record the audio. Throughout the years, we've gone from this little point and shoot to this point and shoot to the Zoom Cam to an actual DSLR that I use for photos, and then to you. That's the timeline. All the different eras of the channel. This is it. I have an archive of like a whole bunch of stuff. If you put all the videos in one folder, you can tell what year it is just by the camera that I used. Like, we finally get to my most recent purchase besides the handy cam and the little point and shoot thing. We needed to go one step up. D75, this is what I use for work. So now we do the final step. We go from this camera, well, I used the phone, we're not gonna include the phone in this, all the way up to this in 4K. Here we are, 4K, this is it, the final camera, the last camera that I bought. We've gone from this is what the first video looked like, and now we're here. In fact, we could put the first video that I recorded on this camera in actual size. That's the resolution. Isn't that wild? And I still have yet to use this camera that much for anything. This was all the cameras. We've gone through the history of the channel. It's been 16 years. And now look at us. We're here. I'm in my own house. I have a job that's actually paying money where I can afford all this all on my own. Everything in this house is mine. It's wild. It's hitting me. Hold on. It's all hitting me right now. Give me a second. I made it. I mean, the channels, there's still nobody watching the videos. Who knows if this video is going to get shared around. 15 years got shared around, which is nice. But I do these because I like documenting. I like being able to go in the past, see myself back in the day. I could look at any one of the 500 photos and know exactly how I was feeling. It's more like just a history thing, like an archive of me. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't know when I'll be back. I did start the monthly updates back up, so probably at the end of the month there'll be a monthly update. I don't know when an actual photo would happen because there's not a lot going on. Actually, I kind of did think of a photo idea. I'm busy working on the toilet. It won't flush. But anyways, while fixing the toilet, I did think of something. I love this handy cam. I've always wanted this camera and now I have it. You have no idea how happy I am. A lot of this was like going back to basics, you know, like we used to do the monthly updates. But I stopped doing them because it became more about the photos, but now there's less photos, so we brought back the monthly updates. And I was remembering, well, back in the day, the photos didn't have to be about when I was feeling, you know, something. Like, they weren't always about telling a story, right? Sometimes they're just experiments. I got a drone, shot a photo with a drone. I wanted to do like light painting and multiple exposures, but with digital. Like, I tried to do things in camera, practically. The birthday photo, that overlay was just a projector. And then I was thinking, oh yeah, the projector. Maybe recording some like feedback loop. I did that for like a really old photo, something like that, on the wall projector. So I like would walk through, so it'd start creating like a ghostly image behind me and then pause, you know? And we have all these different cameras that you saw in this video. All of them will have different feedback loops, and you'll hook it up to a monitor and have it like look at itself. So like we could like experiment with different cameras and try to find the best one. So yeah, like, see, I'm already thinking, they're like, oh, that does sound like fun. At some point in this month as well, there'll be a video and a photo of me messing around with feedback loops. Camera, feedback loops. Also, the toilet flushes now. I was cranking out photos back in the day. Now here in like the past 3 years, I've only done like 10. I don't do much anymore because I'm busy either working or just living life. I don't have to do this. That's it. I'm rambling. I need to stop. Goodbye. I'll see you when I see you. I don't know when that's going to be, but it'll be at some point.
I really wasn't planning on doing a YouTube channel.